Okay, so here's the article. Korean article T1. CEO Joe Marsh's past remarks about Zeus's free agency were merely an opinion. How long is it? It's fine. Okay. T1 CEO Joe Marsh, during an AMA session regarding Zeus's transfer saga, remarked there have been past instances where financial gains were prioritized over what's best for the player. In response, Zeus's agency, The Play, refuted these claims, stating that they were not true. T1 has not issued any official statement or further clarification regarding CEO Joe Marsh's comments. However, upon investigation, it was confirmed that T1, through a representative, clarified CEO Joe Marsh was merely expressing concerns by referencing incidents from the past. Do they really think that we're this stupid? Do they really think that we're this stupid, or are they just like covering themselves legally? Because if I say something like let's say there was like, you know, a situation that happened. A situation happens in the community where somebody is being accused of a crime. And then I just say, yeah, you know, I know of quite a few people that have killed others in the esports scene and got away with it before. I say that right after referencing a crime that was just committed. Is the inference not instantly that you are saying, hey man, like when we talked about the financial gain and then we just lost Zeus, that the agency is the one that prioritized the financial gain over the best interest of the player? Like, why would that not be the inference if that was literally the context of what you're saying? I hate shit like this because it's like, okay, so then why did you just say, like, you just made a random statement, no correlation, you just made a random statement back to back versus another statement, and we weren't supposed to be following what you're saying at all. Okay, nice. It's just so like ill to me. It's so insanely ill to me. Like I mean, I guess it legally covers you, which is probably why they're saying maybe they don't care about anyone believing it, and they're just like, oh, we're legally covered. But I just don't understand why stuff like this is not just immediately jumped on by everyone in the community. How could anyone defend him afterwards? It's like, okay, so he's just a piece of shit. Like, he's just doing like con man bullshit. He's doing executive con man bullshit. That's just what's going on here. Cool. The Play stated, we did not receive any agent fees, and we clearly communicated this point to the T1 representative before the AMA to resolve any misunderstandings following that. So T1 knew. So T1 knew that the Play didn't get financial gain from the contract. T1 should also be aware of this fact. In response, T1 countered by saying, we have no knowledge about the contract terms between Zeus and his agent. In other words, this implies that CEO Joe Marsh's remarks were made without knowing the fact that the contract between Zeus and the Play involved no agency fees. Then why are you speaking on it? Like, why are you making that assumption? Especially if in Korea, other contracts and other agencies don't end up taking percentages of top tier players because they actually have the ability to make enough money off the percentage of branding. Like, then you're just ignorant to how the business works. Like, then you're just incompetent as the CEO if you don't have any idea of how like contracts can be structured. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I hate it. T1 clarified that CEO Joe Marsh's statement, their approach disregarded the team's history, player development, and long-term career planning. Okay, so he said it explicitly as well. So and this is just a lie. Their approach disregarded the team's history, player development, and long-term career planning. Was not intended as a negative. This was not intended as a negative criticism, but rather as a simple evaluation. That's like if I tell you guys, chat, you guys are all fat, disgusting, and retarded. But that was just an evaluation. That was not, hey, don't get mad at me, bro. That was not intended as a negative criticism. That was just my observation of you guys. All right? You guys are just like, so just don't come after me. I was just speaking my mind. I was being honest. All right? Okay? Additionally, Joe Marsh stated that he was concerned about a recurring pattern in the industry where financial factors are prioritized over players' positive futures. This rat, like what you did to Smash, where you prioritize financial gain for your team over the interest of a player who's 18 years old and actually cracked. This guy makes me so mad, man. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. How can you even say that? How do you have the audacity to say that shit? You disgusting rat. You absolute rat. Like, can you believe that he had the audacity to throw that in there? Like, come the on. It's actually just you, bro. How do you not have the social awareness to realize that you're literally just speaking about yourself, man? Like, this shit is this makes me so mad. This guy is the epitome of what's wrong with esports. Joe Marsh is the epitome of what's wrong with esports. It's these corporate motherfuckers that come in and they ruin the spirit of the sport. They ruin players' careers because all they care about is money, man. Because all they care about is money. And the people that used to benefit, or the people that used to be in the scene, would be people that were here for the love of the game. And the people that would benefit from that, like Jack or Reginald, the people that went to the business side, they actually had an initial passion. So I felt like they deserved what they have. But Joe Marsh, man, like, this shit is like so disgusting to me. I can't even read this and not get pissed off because it's such an insult, bro. And I bet you, like, people like Joe Marsh, he would never go on a talk show where there's any form of pushback. He would never come and speak to anyone that would actually lay the facts out for him and have him respond to it. He'll just go on and he'll talk to the people that are in his corner, because that's what all these snakes do. Talk to all the people within his corner and then play defense for him because, oh yeah, he's a nice guy in person or some bullshit like that. Man, I cannot stand this shit. I cannot stand it. The play took this remark as implying the play signed the contract solely for financial reasons. Of course the play took it like that, because that's just what it means. That's like the fact that you called me fat, disgusting, and retarded as a chatter made me feel like you thought that I was actually fat, disgusting. You're just making an observation of other chatters and not me. Okay, perfect. Yes. It has nothing to do with the thing that we just referenced. My God, man. It's so insane to me. T1 argued that the play misinterpreted Joe Marsh's remarks, explaining the comments weren't directed specifically at the play. Rather, they expressed concern about industry practices prioritizing money over respect for existing teams. T1 emphasized, Joe Marsh never said they only think about financial gain. He simply used past examples involving agencies like the play to hindsight industry-wide concerns, which constitutes an opinion. Like, nice. So you just, so okay, cool. So he's just doing the same thing. They're just like, hey, bro, this is what an opinion is. I don't need to know what a fucking opinion is, bro. I don't need you to define an opinion for me. I am not 5 years old, and it's not like I just don't know what these words mean. I'm also smart enough to understand implications behind your remarks. And same thing with the play. They can understand the implications too. Everyone can, bro. Everyone can. I can't. Oh, fuck, man. I hate them so much, man. I hate them. I don't hate the player. I hate them, man. I hate them and the people that co-sign this. The people in this industry, the fans that are like, oh, I'm gonna be on Joe Marsh's side for this one. It's like, yeah, then you're just delusional, bro. Then you're like literally in a cult. If you see this type of behavior and you're not able to call it out because you're like so indoctrinated into that side of the community, then you are in a cult. You're not using your brain. Like, Joe Marsh could then do anything. Like, what could Joe Marsh then do where you're like, that's actually a bad thing that he did? Come on, man. Come on. In a recent interview, Kang Bum-jun, CEO of the play, stated, after Zeus's transfer was finalized, T1's negotiation representatives approached us, and both sides supported and concluded the decision positively. However, because Joe Marsh's AMA took place after this positive closure, his remarks appeared contradictory to the agreed outcome. Okay. Nice. So either T1 has miscommunication within their organization where the negotiator is not actually speaking to Joe Marsh, or Joe Marsh just went publicly because he was upset and he just started lying and discrediting and defaming the play, which is the agency. I mean, those are the only two options. So either Joe Marsh went live knowing all the facts and he just completely lied, in which case this is not an opinion, then he is literally like that is what slander is, right? Slander is when you know that information is false about somebody, a person or an organization, whatever, and you go and say the opposite of what you know. If you actually know it, then you're slandering them. So either he was just slandering the play, or there's just no communication. The T1 organization just has no communication between the representatives and the CEO, which I don't know how it could be possible for this to be the case when it's such a big move within the team. Like, ZOFGK was the whole brand. T1's League of Legends team is the majority of their income. It's their golden goose, whatever. I don't understand how Joe Marsh could actually have went live without knowing what happened within the negotiation. T1 argued that the play misinterpreted Joe Marsh's remarks, explaining the comments weren't directed specifically at the play. Okay, yeah, okay, nice. Okay, wait, this is what I already read. Sorry, I was here. Regarding this point, T1 explained, considering Zeus's contribution, dedication, and young age, we wanted to resolve the situation quickly and quietly, but the unusual free agency process and the announcement of Zeus's transfer without additional comment triggered global fan criticism and suspicion against the player. T1 added, as his former team that deeply cares about the player, we felt it necessary to address questions raised during an AMA to protect Zeus from further criticism. Now, would that make sense? Would that make sense to you guys? That the reason that T1 would go live during an AMA would be to protect Zeus, who is no longer on their team? Or would it make sense that when they would go live and they would put all these justifications out there, they would be protecting themselves and their own brand because they don't want their fans to be mad at them from losing one of the players that's beloved within their organization? Which one is it, guys? Which one is it? I think they actually probably had the best interest of a player who's no longer on their team in mind over their reputation as a company. T1 further argued, in contrast, after the AMA play, okay, no, wait, oh no, this is different. Okay, wow, I thought it was the same thing. T1 further argued, in contrast, after the AMA, the play issued an additional statement to protect their own interests and demanded corrections, despite Joe Marsh's comments being neither false nor demands risk hurt. Wait, false nor warranting correction. Sorry, I read the wrong line. T1 continued, this issue does not require a corrective statement. The play's demands risk hurting Zeus and could unnecessarily amplify suspicions. Previously, the play had mentioned in an interview Zeus and his family wanted to clear up the unfairness they've experienced. T1 concluded, I'll just highlight it so I can like realize where I am when I read the chat and stuff. T1 concluded, we have always prioritized player protection and continue to do so. As a leading organization in the industry, we aim to resolve this issue considering various perspectives. They emphasized, most issues raised by the play fall within the realm of opinion and demanding corrections would infringe upon freedom of expression. Guys, hey, when I'm saying shit, just so you guys know, in the future, if I say anything really fucked up, if there's like clips of me going around where I say some crazy shit, just know that what I said constitutes an opinion and I don't need to explain myself. All right. Just in case I get really deranged and I say some absolutely heinous shit on stream, just know that I don't need to clarify anything and it would infringe upon my freedom of expression to have to justify or explain my own opinion. Like, how can, like, who approved this? This must have been a lawyer being like, you have to say this or you're gonna get sued. Like, if you don't say this shit, then you're getting slandered or you're getting sued for slander. So you have to say this shit even though it looks fucking horrible. Like, that's the only way I would ever release something like this. In response, the play stated, we've never directly communicated with CEO Joe Marsh, so we don't know how matters were internally reported at T1. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said earlier. That would be the only possible conclusion. It's like, all right, man, maybe you actually didn't know what was going on within your organization about the best player. I can't prove that you knew that. I would assume that you would know that. And I would assume that if you didn't know that, you wouldn't immediately go on stream and then make a bunch of assumptions publicly that hurt the player and the organization, because you got to remember that because of these claims, people were turned on Zeus. There was a portion of the community that turned on Zeus that was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this team was so good to you and you're just like a greedy fuck, bro. You're prioritizing financial gain. You're prioritizing getting more money for Hanwha Life over playing with your bros. Like, T1 took care of you. You were nothing without them at the beginning. Like, it generated more hate for Zeus, and then it's protecting him. Yes. Okay. Free agency is the player's right, And although there might have been misunderstandings during negotiations, it's disappointing that the AMA remarks targeted us specifically and created greater misunderstandings about the player. Yes, obviously. Dude, I'm full on the play side with this. I don't know how you could not be on the play side with this entire situation, because you can tell clearly which side is lying when both sides came out. Like, the play came out and they're like, here's an excerpt from our contract. Here's what we said. Here's how our negotiations work. This is how we make money. This is how we did things. Here, like, we have a paper trail of how our negotiations ended up going. This is why we had to sign at a specific time. We even delayed. We tried to do everything. And then T1's response is like, we plead ignorance to everything. We plead ignorance to everything. We just didn't know what was going on. So, maybe our bad, but like not really our bad, because we couldn't have known what was going on. Really, like, how can you not see both these sides and realize that one side is clearly fucking wrong? Like, how could you not realize one side is clearly fucking wrong? Meanwhile, according to the conversations about represented in T1 on the play, it appears Zeus received an initial offer that included a reduction described recently in interviews as a part of an unacceptable offer. CEO Kang Bumjun of the play has not disclosed further details, citing confidentiality clauses. However, T1 responded by stating the expression reduction appearing in captured messages is merely the play's claim and not objectively verified fact. We disagree with the characterization and believe it differs from the objective truth, T1 further suggested. Given the sharp disagreement between both sides on the use of the term reduction, it would be more accurate if the article clearly stated this disagreement or modified the expression. Okay, so like, the play said it's a worse contract, but maybe it's something where like T1's like, oh, you know, we could sign you. I mean, like, maybe their initial thing, I know at the end it was about duration. Maybe the initial one was like a longer period for like way less money, so it's not technically a reduction, you know. It's like, maybe it's a reduction year to year, but it's not a reduction over the value of the entire contract. Like, this could be maybe something that's arguable here. Realistically, though, I mean, the thing is, they just won Worlds twice. So the market value goes up. So, like, compared to what the value should be, it could be characterized in different ways. So, like, that is just, I feel like everything that T1 has talked about here, is just like, let's give you the literal definition of every single word in the dictionary. And they're trying to just like argue that as opposed to the overall point. They also added, the captured conversation is merely communication involving an agent, and definitively labeling it as a reduction is problematic. Are they pulling? Guys, our CEO didn't mean that trick. Let's see if it works out for them. He is just silly guy sometimes. T1 Managemet. That didn't happen. Dude, it's so fucking accurate. I mean, you know that it's bad when like everyone from Reddit is seeing through it. Like, Reddit can't see through shit generally. If all of Reddit is seeing through this shit, it's bad. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, it's a narcissist's prayer. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. The narcissist's prayer. It worked in US politics, so I guess they're copying the White House playbook. Next thing you know, they're going to be negotiating fakers' contracts over Signal. Joe Marsh slandering and running a smear campaign against Zeus and his agency. It was just a prank, bro. Actually, we were trying to protect the player's reputation, bro. T1 fans awfully quiet after this one. T1 subreddit still has people defending Joe Marsh. I don't even want to go there, bro. I don't even want to read it. Why is this the next one? Why do we have to go from the discussions of this to impregnating Briar in the next discussion? Are you kidding me? How is that the next thing up on the League subreddit? Whatever, bro. We got some serious shit, and then we got impregnating Briar right afterwards. League subreddit, bro. League subreddit in a nutshell, bro. Look at this shit. Impregnating Briar. Spawn, I've got cameras everywhere throughout the TL facility. If I want to hear that. Like, how is this the League subreddit? One of the most important articles that you could have in the space, into impregnating Briar, into Spawn, I've got cameras everywhere throughout the TL facility. If I want to hear what the players are saying, I would just listen. That was the full title. And then here, full patch preview. My God. We had with David, he mentioned tampering and said he didn't think Zeus would have stayed even if they had offered him $3 million from day one. But now the information says that Zeus was actually willing to stay, even with a lower salary. And he was even offered a reduction despite previous interviews stating that the players would be given the best conditions. Now everything is just an opinion and not directed at anyone in particular. Is he crazy? Like, yeah, is he crazy, bro? He caused T1 and his family to receive massive hate. So the phrasing, the play, this phrasing from the play strongly implies that their initial offer was to give Zeus less money than his 2024 contract after winning Worlds. What else could a reduction constitute? It was a one. So the other thing that it could constitute is maybe, maybe the initial one, it was they discussed, like, at the end they were offering lower contract length. Maybe their initial one had higher contract length for like more overall money, but significantly less year to year money. You know, like that's how I probably see the situation working. T1 does directly disagree with it, but both sides are so vague about it that it makes little sense. And having no rebuttal other than we disagree after that initial mad allegations towards the play that both Joe and the org said, opinion or not, is insane. It is so insane, bro. Please see through this, guys. Please see through this. Please get snakes like this without out of the industry, man. Like, it's so horrible, man. It's so horrible for everyone. I'm gonna play the ads, bro. I need another coffee. I'm like, that shit actually pissed me off. Like, I'm not acting or anything. That shit actually pisses me off. Like, just hearing, like, they're harming the reputation of a really talented young player for financial gain. Joe Marsh did that. And then to go on and say that, like, that other people prioritize financial gain, but T1 doesn't, like, it's so